So, it's Saturday night, and you're hanging out with me. Welcome to the world of the dork.
Chris Top, the king of all dorks.
Hi, I'm Chris Top. First off, I want to thank you for tuning into the Chris Top program. While I try my best to keep the show as rated PG-13 as possible, sometimes things slip out, or sometimes things happen, and that's just the way live radio goes. And because this is the internet, the FCC isn't around to tell me what I can and can't do. So because of the occasional slip-up or the guess that might get out of hand, you really need to be 18 or older to listen. If you happen to be under 18, please make sure you get your parents' permission. Go! Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
I am the one and only Chris Top.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment.
The VCR and the DVD, there wasn't that a back in 1970. We didn't know about the World War Web was a whole different game being played back when I was a kid. Wanna get down in a cool way, picture yourself on a beautiful day. Big bell bottoms and groovy long hair, just walking in style with a party full MP3 play. You can listen to the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program. You can hear the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program.
Chris Top.
Wanna hear the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program. Chris Top program. You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
Sunny Clarksville, Tennessee.
You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
This is the Chris Top program.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee. How the hell are you, world? You know it's Saturday night, don't you? What in the hell are you doing hanging out with me on a Saturday night? Well, it kind of makes sense. What's the type of show that I do, so it only makes sense that I attract like-minded people that really don't have a whole lot to do on a Saturday night. So I felt like maybe it was fitting that we have sort of a dating show. Now, just to give people time to get here, I'm going to do just some regular stuff, and then we'll kind of slide into the whole dating thing here in about 10 or 15 minutes. But I've got some things to talk about. Okay, now I know I'm a dork. What do I know? What do I know about dating? I get that. I do. I totally understand that. But the beauty of it is, and I know you've heard this your whole life, what is the absolute best way to learn anything? I'll give you a second. You learn from your mistakes. So there you go. You just learned from my mistakes. It's that simple. It really, really is. I usually don't say hi to everybody into the chat until after I do a story, but we're talking about dating, and Andrew said, I have a life, www.pornhub.com. So that's what Andrew does on a Saturday night. But the dating talk's going to come up here in just a minute. Now, you know Father's Day is tomorrow, so it's not too late if you don't have a plan yet. Maybe someplace to take Dad. Don't get him a tie. But please don't get him a tie. And don't get him any boxer shorts that say world's greatest dad on the butt. Because really, what's he going to do? At the cookout, is he going to pull down his pants and say, hey, look what I got for Father's Day? He's not going to do that. Okay, so don't go there. Oh, and in case you missed the last show, you're not going to believe it unless you listen to my show. I actually had a stripper in my house. And... And I did an interview with a stripper. Why not, right? When a stripper's available, then you need to do an interview. So if you want to check that show out, it'll be the one under this one. Oh, and the Twitter's wide open as well. And I've got it on my phone, so I should hear it go off. So feel free to tweet with me. You can also tumble with me and leave comments and questions on Facebook. Maybe you have a worst date experience. And we're gonna pay a little bit of attention to that tonight. And again, we can learn from mistakes. So we're going to talk about a few of the worst date experiences, and maybe we can learn at least what not to do. Because me being a dork, I can't give you any solid advice on what to do. So we'll just kind of go with that. Now, Father's Day is tomorrow. Dads, they treat their kids all year round. And tomorrow is their day to finally get their chance to feel spoiled. Now, you can take Dad out pretty cheap because I know. You're young. You're in college. You ain't got no money. I get that. So you want to go places where they actually offer free stuff. Seriously, Abby? Seriously. All day long, you have not done that. Thank you. Thank you, Abby. Abby's my cat. So you can go to Shoney's on Father's Day. The buffet is open, and then you get a free slice of cake. So basically, you could probably go in and order a drink, and maybe you could talk them out of the free slice of cake. And that's pretty cheap. And if you're close to a Beef O'Brady's, see, this is a good one right here. This is a really good one. They're giving dads up to $10 of free stuff. And that's it. We don't even have a Beef O'Brady's. I don't even know what a Beef O'Brady's is. But I'm sure that someone listening to me has one close. So you're welcome. Now, you can go to TCBY, and you can get a free 6-ounce treat for free. And there are some IKEA stores that will greet Dad with cups of coffee. And I'm getting a phone call. Let's see if I can put this on speaker, if I can figure this out. And my speaker's not... I have a smartphone. My smartphone absolutely sucks because I can't ever make the speaker work on it. And, but it's actually Cookie. She's calling me. Cookie, if you can hear me, I'm actually on the air right now, so I can't really talk to you because I can't make my speaker work. And so she's going to get in the chat. And see, now I know you guys don't believe me. It's like, yeah, right. Right, there's an exotic dancer calling Chris. Right, his phone doesn't work. Got it. Sure, we believe you. Okay, anyway, you can go to White Castle because they're offering free dessert on a stick. Is it just me, or do things seem better when they're on a stick? I don't know what it is. There's something about the stick. I wish you could put spaghetti on a stick. I really do, because I love spaghetti. I bet you could. I bet you could actually just sort of poke the meatballs on there, and then you could probably wrap the spaghetti around it. See, I have million-dollar ideas. I really do. Somewhere out there, there's someone listening to me, and they're like, well, wait a minute. Spaghetti on a stick? That's genius. See, and at first it sounded impossible until I worked it out of my mind. Now, in Boston Market, they're featuring coupons for free lasagna and ribs. Okay, here's a hint for you, kids. Dads, they love ribs. They really, really do. And Hooters is giving away some stuff too, but Mom probably isn't going to want you to go to Hooters. Just saying. Okay. Now, I promise you, before you say anything, it's common knowledge I'm a conservative Republican. And I try not to get political on my show. Somewhere, somebody out there is going to take me as being political at this point. But I promise I'm not going there. I'm not. Because other presidents have done this as too. This is just current and it's in the news. So nobody can accuse Obama of traveling light. Are you ready for this? Now, he's headed to Africa later this month. And I'm going to tell you how much it's going to cost. It's not cheap when you're the president, when you've got to travel somewhere. I bet he drops like $10,000 just when he goes to the bathroom to take a crap. So I couldn't even imagine going to Africa. So they'll reportedly be taking several hundred Secret Service agents. Several hundred. Why don't they just say a small army? They could just say that. That would be fine. 56 support vehicles Now, 14 of those 56 support vehicles include limousines. Now, maybe that's a place they could actually cut some cost. I don't know. I mean, if they've got 56 support vehicles, there's probably a few tanks in there. Just throw the president in a tank. He'll look really cool, I think, bopping out of a tank when they pull up. Also, there's fighter jets that are going to fly around the clock over the presidential space. I wonder exactly how broad the presidential space is. And I wonder if I could hire my own jet to fly in my Chris Top space. That would be pretty cool. It probably wouldn't be a jet. It'd probably be like one of those little paper airplanes, maybe, with a firecracker on it. That's all I would get. That's all I could afford. Now, the total cost is actually estimated anywhere between $60 million and $100 million. They don't know how much it's going to cost. See, when you just kind of glance at it, 60 million, 100 million looks pretty close. All right, just give me what's in the middle if it's that close. I mean, that's a $40 million difference. You'd think they could get a little closer than that. But anyway, the security requirements, they're not actually White House driven, they're Secret Service driven. And see, that makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. Who employs the Secret Service? It's the freaking White House. So it's all White House driven. Speaking of money, how much would you pay for a great parking spot? Now, I don't live in a big city. When I get to work, I can always find a spot, and I can always walk right in within 30 seconds. So it's no big deal for me. Now, if I lived in a big city and I had to pay for parking every day, or if I had to park 15, 20, 30 minutes away, then maybe I would spend a little cash. I don't know if I'd spend this much. I mean, I don't know if you can actually put a price on a parking space. Now, there are 2 parking spaces in Boston that just sold for $560,000 at an IRS auction. They were seized from a man who owed $600,000 in back taxes. The bidding started at $42,000. How did the price go from that to more than the cost of a house? I'll tell you how. Just freaking craziness is how. Now, there was a bidding war between 2 neighbors that actually drove the price up in less than 15 minutes. Now, the IRS auctioneer called the property the 2 prettiest parking spaces I've ever seen. For a parking spot. Two parking spots. $560,000. You would think people that could afford to buy a parking spot for that much money could just afford to maybe take a cab to work. Maybe call one when they're ready to leave. Maybe take a limo. I don't know. Maybe fly and land on the roof of the building and get out of your helicopter and then take the elevator straight down. That way you're avoiding everything altogether. See, that would make a little more sense to me, I think. And I got another... So that's not a tweet, that's a text. See, why do the hotties always text me when I'm doing a broadcast and I can't respond? I'll have to talk to her later. I really tried to make myself seem more cool than I am. I really, really am. All right, let me scroll up. I want to say hi to everybody that's in the chat, because I hate missing people. I really do. So we're going to go back to the very beginning. I would like to say hello to my good friend Ultima, who's in the chat. Actually, I think he just dipped in and said that he had to go. He had to pick up his parents or something like that. And we have Love Muffin, a.k.a. Jen, in the chat. And let's see. Let's scroll down here because I don't like missing anybody. And we have Andrew McClinton in the chat. Andrew, it's always a pleasure to see you, buddy. We have Christian in the chat. He says, hello, haven't been here in a while, but here now. You know, that's something we have in common, Christian. I haven't been here in a while either, but we're both here now as well. I feel like maybe that's some sort of a trick. Andrew says, will you be talking about girlfriends? I need help with mine. Well, Andrew, I got to be honest with you. if you're going to ask me for advice on girlfriends, you're probably asking the wrong dude. But there may be somebody in the chat that could possibly help you out. Maybe some chicks will be in the chat that could help you out. And then we have Raymond Garcia. Hello, Mr. Top. I'm late. I'm not late this time. You're not late. I'm glad you're here. You're just on time. It's good to see you guys. Who else we got? We've got High Five Radio in the chat. We've got Sarah Denny in the chat. Sarah, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And who else do we have so far? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Andrew says, one time a girl tried to hug me and his something blocked her. That happens. See, you need to really join the chat. If you're listening anywhere besides Spreaker, you want to join the chat, because if you're not there, you're really missing half of the fun. Because I don't even talk about half the stuff that they say in the chat. So you want to make sure you kind of check it out. One time my girl got lost finding the place, so she just gave up and we broke up. So she was your girlfriend before she knew where you lived. That's interesting. Chris, you know me. Every show I do is a surprise show. But it's good to see you, buddy. Oh, and I'm going to play your super cool promo. See, I don't like people that can make cooler promos than me. So I'm a little apprehensive sometimes about doing this kind of stuff. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. And we have Cookie in the chat. This is where all the guys actually start drooling. They forget who they are and they pee on themselves. So Cookie's in the chat. And Cookie is actually going to be co-hosting a show with me this coming Tuesday night. Don't know what time. It's probably going to be sometime around 9:30ish Central Standard Time, so a little bit earlier than right now, except on Tuesday night. And we're going to try to keep the discussion away from exotic dancing talk and just have a normal host-co-host sort of a relationship going on there. So it should be very interesting. And let's see. And you got to watch Cookie. You've got to watch Christopher. He's a bit of a ladies' man, and he's already picked up on you being in the room. Everybody loves Cookie. Everybody loves it. Everybody. What was it, Chris? He said he's become a cookie monster. Okay, what's going on here? I don't know. Let me try to figure out who's in here. Oh, we've got Brent in the chat. Brent, it's good to see you. And we've got Kimberly Top in the chat. She's my sister from another mister. And yes, see, I want to take Kimberly to Hooters one day. Me and her, we're going to hang out. We're going to have some Hooters. Kim would like Hooters, too. She really, really would. What else we got? Let's see. High Five says, thanks. I need a contributor who can help me pay for a broadcaster plan. It has expired recently. And if you'd like to help the Chris Top program, I don't need your help. I'm fine. And who else we got? Like I said, I don't want to miss anybody. And there's a lot of people chatting in here today. There really is. This is cool. Let me get caught up here, and then we'll get on with the show, I promise. But today we're going to actually talk about dating, and I've got some really bad dating stories. I do. I've got some bad dating stories. So it should be interesting. It really should. Oh, we've got Doc FM in the chat. Doc, it's so good to see you. Whenever Doc comes in, he's so sweet. He really is. He's a big fan of the show. He's a longtime listener. He's been around for quite some time. But it's always good to see Doc. I love you, man. I really do. I really, really love you. I do.
Some might say you're a sexually aggressive, racist, homophobe, misogynistic, cowardly, illiterate, waste of human skin. Sexually aggressive, racist, homophobe, misogynistic, cowardly, illiterate, waste of human skin. But I say, thank you, beautiful stranger.
And you are absolutely, positively, 100% for sure in the right place. This is the Chris Top program. When I come back, we're going to talk about dating, pros and cons, some advice, and maybe some bad dating experiences. It really should be a lot of fun.
Greetings, dorky friends. Let's take a journey.
We're like the rebels to the empire.
Super Mario will make you feel like a kid again. I mean, like, this is it. Play it, slay it, I can't quit. All night long with Donkey Kong, and then I move on. I'm okay, I just game. I love to play just like I love LA. Marvel Madness, the Lion King. Nostalgia is everything. Power Glove, hanging out with Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Mega Man, excited by Castlevania and the Legend of Zelda. Hey gamers, looky here nerds. I'm all up on ya, cause you represent California. California dorks, we're unforgettable. Disneyland like 4 times a week. Sun-kissed soda pop and flux capacitors. California dorks, we're undeniable. Star Wars toys and watching John Rock. YouTube represent, now put your hands up.
This is the Chris Top program, and just in case you didn't know, the correct way to have said that would have been the special needs DJs have actually passed me up.
Hello, I'm Chris Crash Jesus Taylor from HTLA Radio 1 at HTLA973.com. You know, a few weeks back I happened upon the Chris Top program on Spreaker.com, and I was met with feelings and love I had never before experienced with a radio show and a host of hosts. The joy and inspiration you brought to my life, Chris, with just a few simple words. The inspirational clips, the chat banter, the total hotties that you as a dork attract and maintain without effort. The king of all dorks, you proclaim, and so it is true. Chris Top, my lord, my king, I love you. When I was thirsty, you gave me Mountain Dew. When I was hungry, you fed me Muse. When I was nervous, you helped me pee. Now, from the rooftops, I shout Wabo with glee. So please join me with the chat dorks every day for another dose of the Chris Top program on Spreaker.com.
And here we are. We're going to talk about dating today. In the broadcast, and I do want to talk about something. I do want to bring something up because this has come to light, and you guys deserve an explanation. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about my whole life's history because I don't have to divulge everything that I do in my personal life. I don't. But I guess it's been about a month. I had a breakup. Yeah, as most of you know, I was dating Sarah for a while, and we broke up. You know, I'm not going to get into the details of exactly what happened, and I guess this is fitting because this is the dating show. I guess I don't know. But just to answer any questions, I did not cheat on her. I did not do that, but I'm allowed to have friends. Whomever I want because, well, I'm an adult. I can hang out with whoever I want to, have whomever over, and I can do those things, and it's perfectly okay. I don't think I'm breaking any laws. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But anyway, I've got some things here, and we're going to talk about maybe some good things you can do on dates, some bad things you can do, and this is interesting right here. Now, these are things that you should absolutely, positively never, ever, 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 ever do when you're out on a date. And trust me, I know because I'm a dork. I know these things. When you go on a date, especially like a first date, maybe the first few hundred dates, you don't want to talk about marriage. Have you ever done that? Have you ever talked about marriage on your first date? Maybe gave her that crazy-eyed look? I know somebody out there listening has. Did you go out again? You know, hopefully she ran from you. Because if she didn't run from you, she was as crazy as you are. If she went out with you again, if you're going to talk about marriage on the first date. Now, guys, if a girl ever talks about marriage on the first date, this is what you do. More than likely, she's got the crazy eyes. She's fixed on you the whole time. All you have to do is excuse yourself from the table. Tell her you're going to the bathroom, because she's not going to follow you there. If you tell her you're going to go to the bar to get a couple of drinks, she'll follow you to the bar. So excuse yourself from the table, go to the bathroom, and then peek out the bathroom, make sure she's not looking. Maybe tip the waiter $20 to go and run interference for you, unless you have a wingman on hand. And then just sneak out the back door. That's probably the smartest thing that you can do. All right, now something else you shouldn't bring up. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything that anything that maybe you've brought up on a date that was bad, go ahead and post it in the chat or post it on the Facebook page. Don't bring up your mom. Just leave your mom out of the date, because I don't think she wants to know that you're a mama's boy. I really don't. So what's going on in the chat here? Let's see. Doc says the show gets better and better every time. Every time that he listens to it. Let's see. What else is going on here? And if you guys have anything at all to discuss in the chat, it's wide open. So please, any bad experiences would be wonderful, because I love the bad experience, because I learn from bad experiences. I make another bad experience happen, but I learn. I try to learn. Okay, now when you go on a date, don't talk about work. Don't do it. She doesn't want to know about your work. See, I think the best thing to do is ask her about herself. Now, if she wants to talk about her work and you're into her, then that's probably okay. Just let her go for a while, but either way, it's probably a bad idea. So just avoid the work stuff altogether if you can. Now, don't do this. I don't care if it's 2013. I don't care if she asked you out on the date. First date, and this is a golden rule, the guy always pays. Always. I mean, if it's a date, if you guys are friends and you've been talking for a while, and then you decide to go meet somewhere, then that's a little different. But if this is an official date and you feel like that there's something else that could come out of this, then just pay the bill. If you don't make a lot of money, go somewhere cheap. That's okay, but as long as you pay the bill. And no, it's no better if you ask her to split it with you. It's not any better at all. So don't do that either. I don't care if you're lush. I don't care if you drink all the time while you're at home and you can handle it. Don't drink too much on a date. You want to go with maybe 1 to 3 drinks? That's a good first date thing. But the last thing you want to do, really, is let her see you throw up all over your shirt. You don't want her to see that. I've got some statistics here. 1 out of every 10 singles say drinking too much on a first date is a deal breaker. 1 out of 10 isn't that bad, really. So maybe I need to reevaluate this one. Now, 14% say that they've been overserved, but things ended well. And then when asked if too much drinking has ever ruined a first date, 47% actually said yes. So those are some statistics for you to throw around in your head. All right. Try this one on for size. And really, take notes on this stuff. I'm serious, because I'm learning as I go too. Thou shalt not share excessive details about your past. Now, see what I did just a minute ago when I was answering some questions? Cut to the point, gave you what you needed to know, got the hell out of there. That was it. That's perfect. That's all you needed. Now, we all know that you have a past. She has a past too. She didn't just appear yesterday for you to ask her out. Now, bringing up all of the fine details of your old dating triumphs and all of your troubles is not necessary. It'll only lead to jealousy and some pointless competition. Now, don't give her any graphic details of your best one-nighter. See, she doesn't want to hear that. It's not going to make you lucky. She doesn't want to know not how big you are, but how big you think you are. She doesn't want to know that. She doesn't want to know how many times you took the last girl that you had to the pinnacle of some sexual experience. She doesn't want to know. Some of these things are left better as surprises later on. And don't badmouth your ex. I mean, this is something that sometimes people overlook, but it really does make your date uncomfortable. When all you ever do is bring up your ex-girlfriend and then you badmouth her and she thinks, oh my God, what's he going to say to me if this doesn't work out? So you want to treat your dating history like it almost doesn't exist. Maybe you can throw in a few key details, maybe just to explain your credentials. But you don't want to come across as being psychotic, and you don't want to over-elaborate. So you want to just be really, 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 really careful with that. And don't do this. I know if you're a dork, and see, this could be easy for you to do, because say you're out on a date with a girl that's typically out of your league. Somehow you end up on a date with this girl. No matter how much you want to, no matter how much it's inside of you and trying to break out, do not, I repeat, do not put her on a pedestal. Now there's time for compliments, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now poets, they may have written verse after verse about worshiping a woman like she's some kind of a goddess or something. But doing it in reality, it always ends up in disaster. Now, it might seem like it could be a romantic thing if you treat her like Aphrodite, but it comes across as kind of desperate, a little bit overbearing. So what she wants is for you to know all of her. And when I say all of her, this also includes her faults. And now this part is coming from my heart, and I want you to hear this. I know I'm not the only guy that feels this way. When a girl is truly beautiful, she is going to have faults. And sometimes those faults could be the most stunning thing about her. I'm just keeping it real. That's all I'm doing. I'm just keeping it real. And if you can't care about a girl with her, even with her faults, then you probably shouldn't be with her at all, right? Now, there's always room for occasional romance and compliments and things like that. But make sure that you treat her like the real person that she is. And another thing too, if you go in there and you put her up on this pedestal, then it may make her just a little bit nervous. She may feel like she's under a lot of pressure to live up to some really high standards that you've built in your mind. That is, if you truly believe what you're saying. If you're just saying it to say it, well, then that kind of makes you a scumbag. It does. I'm sorry. All right. Now, again, if you're a dork, please don't do this. I know it's easy to do. I know. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, I was this guy. Oh, yeah, you are more beautiful than Aphrodite. You really are. When you open your eyes, these beams of sunlight just shoot out all over the place. Flowers grow out of my hair. That was me 15 or 20 years ago. I'm a little more callous now. I know a little bit more about how the real world works. So, with that being said, you don't want to seem too enthusiastic about the date. I mean, it's okay to seem excited. You can send her a text and say, I'm really excited about seeing you tonight. But don't send it every 5 minutes. Don't call her 50 times the day before and say, hey, is the date still on? I'm really excited about seeing you. Do you want to get married? Don't do that. See, nobody likes a stalker. And that's kind of the way you're coming across when you do that. Now, you may be falling hard for her, but you've got to give her room to breathe. You can't bombard her with the phone calls. No surprise visits. You know, maybe like you've got a date planned for Friday, but then you decide to show up for Thursday at lunch. Hi, it's me. You said yes for the date, so I figured you'd probably like to see me again. That's not how that works. So no surprise visits, no requests for dates every day of the week. You're having a great time on Friday, don't push your luck. Don't push your luck and say, hey, let's go out on Saturday. Now, if she brings it up and you're all about it, then go for it. But you've got to have some breathing room in there somewhere. And I don't care how long you've been in a relationship. I don't care if it's a brand new relationship or the relationship's 10, 15, 20 years old. You've got to have your space. That is so important. I don't care who you are, what you do for a living. And when I say space, guys and girls both, remember, if you're in a monogamous relationship and you've been in it for a while or just a little while, giving them their space is not while they're at work. At least give them one night a week. Maybe it's a guy night. Maybe they like to go to the gym. I don't know what their escape is. Maybe it's a girls' night out. I don't know. But give them that time because they desperately need that. And they need it whether they realize it or not. And even if you have to force them to go, force them out the door, because what that does is it makes them appreciate you more when they get back home. Right? Now, there's an old show business cliche. It says, always leave them wanting more. So, don't seem too enthusiastic. Don't initiate, and see, there's no real number to this. There's no secret formula. I mean, most of the time, if it feels right, I'd say go for it. But don't initiate contact. And we'll just throw out more than 3 times. Don't initiate the contact more than 3 times in a row. Let her come to you every once in a while. And plus, it proves to you that she is interested and that she's willing to maybe go further with the relationship. All right, I'm going to go back to the chat, see what's going on. Let's see. Doc says he is taking some notes. He says that he's really enjoying the program today. Let's see what else we got going on in here. Let's see what we got. And the thing is, I do my show, and I don't do it as often as I used to. I've been doing it maybe once a month, once every couple of weeks. And the response that I'm getting is kind of what I expected. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's still fun, and I still get to hang out with my friends. And really, that's all I'm looking for. So it's actually kind of nice. A lot of you guys are just, I guess you're an extension of my family. And it's just kind of fun to see you when I can, because I'm busy. I really am busy quite a bit. Okay, let's go back. I've got a few more statistics here. We've got some more little hints for you if you do want to take some notes. So we talked about don't be late for your date. I mean, if you're going to be more than 15 minutes late for your date, at least give her a call. And this is one of those things, this is like an Andy Griffith rule. Okay, Andy would never be late for a date. And if he was going to be late, he had a damn good excuse. And if he had had a cell phone, he would have called. For sure. And nobody likes people that are rude. And that's pretty much common sense. Now, 17% say to save the stories of relationships that are in your past for later. And you know, for later, maybe save them, maybe not. I don't think they're ever good to bring up because it's just not healthy. Why would you bring up exes to a new relationship? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? What reason, what purpose would that serve to further your relationship? It doesn't. Okay, now, guys, this is going to be a really, really big letdown for you, I know. I know it is. First date sex. Now, I want you to listen to me very closely. 164%. Remember that number. Women are 164.21% more likely than men to say trying to have sex on a first date is an unforgivable thing. So if that many women aren't really into having sex on the first date, then maybe you shouldn't be too pushy. And if you do happen to find that one girl that is okay with having sex on the first date, then maybe you should probably just step away. Just step away. Maybe you should find another girl. Because that could be a really bad sign. And one of the worst things I think that you can do on a date, and this really, really and truly is, the most offensive thing is leaving your phone on the table. And see, I know how people are. We have our phones with us all the time. I mean, it's a part of our everyday life. We cannot function without our phones. I mean, you're used to using it when you're around your friends. You're used to using it while you're driving, but you shouldn't. You're used to using it while you're at work, everywhere you go, in the bathroom. So it's almost a natural thing to just put it out on the table at a dinner table during a date. I have to say, when I go on dates, I have to make a conscious effort to turn it down and put it in my pocket. Because if I don't, then there's a good possibility I might check a text, or I might start texting someone in the middle of a conversation. That is so rude. I mean, when you're giving your time to this person, then you should give your time to that person, because this is like a first impression thing. So don't ruin it with your smartphone. I think I'm going to take just a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few of the worst dating stories. And if you have a nightmare dating story, then I would love it if you would post it on my Facebook page. You can post your personal life all you want, and I promise I won't share it with everybody on the. I won't. I wouldn't dream of doing that, I promise.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Mr. Pop.
Take it from the top.
Do you wanna date my avatar? Do you wanna date my avatar?
your mouth up, ladies, this is pure nerd Nick.
I'm a pixel-based fantasy. I'm Ansel Stoic. A hack and slash. Who the heck's more heroic?
Check me out, cloth armor fits me like a glove. Just twit at a time, I'm ready for love.
Hang with me in my MMO. So many places we can go. I'm better than a real world quest. You'll touch my +5 to dexterity vest. What role do you wanna play? I'm just a click away, night or day. And if you think I'm not the one, log off, and we'll be done. Do you wanna date my avatar? She's a star, and she's hotter than reality by far. Wanna date my avatar? You wanna date my avatar? She's a star, and she's hotter than reality by far. Wanna date my avatar? You 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 wanna date my
You are, my friends, absolutely, positively in the right place. This is the Chris Top program. Somebody requested, lady... Somebody earlier requested, lady... Yeah, Lady Gaga earlier. And in case you're new to the show and you haven't heard this yet, I've got an interview that I actually did with Lady Gaga. And this was, this is probably over a year old now, but, I haven't played it in a while. And hey, it's still kind of fun. And when we come back from this, we'll talk about some other dating stuff. And like I said, you can take me seriously, you cannot take me seriously. I'm a dork, that's all I am, really. But the truth of the matter is, you can learn from my mistakes.
I have to say, I'm pretty excited. I never in a million years thought I could get someone as big as Lady Gaga on the Chris Top program. I mean, honestly, I think she made more money than Oprah did last year. And at the same time, I'm pretty nervous because, as most of you know, or those of you who listen to my show off and on, you know that Lady Gaga sort of sends off my Gaga gag reflex, is what I call it. And I like to run a professional show, so the last thing I want to happen is I lose my lunch during the interview. I mean, for some reason, I associate her with this smell of spam, and I don't know why. But I was always taught growing up that I should face my fears head on. So that's what I'm here to do today. I know for a fact you're not here to listen to me, so I would like to welcome Lady Gaga to the program.
Hello. Hi, guys. How are you?
Well, I'm Waba. Thank you for asking. That was very nice.
I agree.
Just out of curiosity, and please don't be offended by this, but I'm kind of curious as to why you don't have pants on.
I don't like pants.
Can you just not find any that fit properly? I know it must be very difficult to find pants that are made of meat.
I don't know.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. As a matter of fact, I'll just slip mine off as well. That way, I figured if I don't have pants on, then it's not quite as awkward.
Okay.
I don't know why you're laughing. I don't take my pants off for everybody.
Well, I dream about it a lot. I don't know, I suppose I could lie to you and not tell you the truth, but the truth is I do think about it.
About me taking my pants off?
You're pretty sexy.
Oh, you think I'm sexy? Really?
Well, you don't have long hair and stink.
Well, and you don't smell like spam like I had thought you would.
Thank you so much.
Lady Gaga, when you first started hitting the charts, there were a ton of rumors flying around the world about you, and one of them was that you actually had, I don't even know how to say this, man parts. And I want to get this clear once and for all. Do you? And I have to say I'm a little bit uncomfortable because I do see a bulge, and I'm not quite sure what that is.
It's not real.
Well, if it's not real, what is that exactly?
That part of my life has just really changed.
Okay, so you say it's changed. How long have you had that?
In the womb, the technology has just really changed.
Okay, So you were born that way. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Were you surprised to find out you were different?
Yes, of course. I was so surprised.
Okay, Lady Gaga, just excuse me for just 1 second. I was trying not to do this, but I'm having a very difficult time, and I'll feel better just okay, hang on.
Stop.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think I'm just a little bit nervous because you're such a big star.
Thank you.
Have you ever had this effect on anybody else besides me?
Thousands of people. Underground communities to an almost nauseating degree.
Okay, I noticed you're always changing your look. Sometimes you even looked a little orange. Today you look kind of pale. Is there something wrong?
I started.
That could be a little too much info, but I did ask, so I guess we can roll with it. How old were you when you first started your, or that time of the month?
I was 4.
You were 4. Wait, what?
I was 4.
You were 4. Okay, hang on just 1 second.
This is awesome.
I do, once again, I apologize. I'm not making you sick, am I?
No.
So Aunt Flo actually started to visit you when you were 4 years old. Was there something wrong?
I was tested.
You were tested, and everything came out okay.
And I still am fairly troubled. I don't really know exactly why it happened.
Well, okay, what kind of test was it?
An exorcism.
Was that your parents' idea? Were they okay with the exorcism?
For the most part.
Okay, so in the end, they didn't find that you were possessed.
I don't show any signs.
You don't show any signs. Well, you must have been relieved.
I cried. I genuinely was moved to tears.
You know, Lady Gaga, I have to say, this is one of my most interesting interviews to date. I hope you're having a good time.
I'm just falling asleep.
Oh, okay. Well, I have an interesting story that I could share with you if you want.
I'm not interested.
That was totally rude. So what do you want to talk about?
I think that question is kind of ridiculous.
Sorry about that. Sorry. So when you were growing up, was there anything that Lady Gaga was afraid of?
My big fear was of the anglerfish. I battle my childhood fear every night.
Does the anglerfish still haunt you?
Every moment of my life.
Oh, that's really sad. Does anything else bother you?
Dildos.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Dildos.
Why do you have a fear of that?
Because everybody called me a tranny robot and thought that I had a little penis.
All right, hang tight.
Do you want me to yak?
No, really, I don't want you. No, see, no, that's not really not cool.
Weird.
Oh boy, are you all right?
I'm okay.
I am so sorry, Lady Gaga. If this wasn't live, I'd go back and edit that out because I know you don't want people hearing you throw up on live radio.
People think I'm sexy.
You know, I would really love to be a good host at this point and offer you a Mountain Dew, but for some reason I can't find them.
I took those.
How did you, when did you take how did you do that?
I really focused.
Okay, fine. Let's just move on with the interview. How did your parents feel about your career choices?
My mother was crying. It was like there's 2 guys having sex.
I don't understand the comparison. What does 2 guys having sex have to do with your mother crying?
I appreciate a great question. The gay community is the single reason that I'm here.
Okay. Well, that sort of leads me to my next question. Are you bisexual?
I didn't say, I would just say, yeah. Am I bisexual? Whatever you want to call it, you can call it.
Well, have you ever considered being in a relationship with just a man?
I don't relate to it. Really enjoying traveling the world and sleeping with really good-looking people.
Well, I suppose that's one of the perks to being a superstar. Do you find it morally okay to lead that kind of a lifestyle?
I genuinely have, religious vision.
Wow, people must think you're just totally insane.
I have tested borderline positive.
Are you okay with being crazy?
I really worked myself from the ground up.
Do you ever just step back and take a look at yourself and say, this is where I want it to be today?
I look at everything that happens to me.
Well, Lady Gaga, when people look at you and they start to push, and they start to say, well, you're not a real pop star. You're just in it for the shock factor. That's how you get your attention. How do you push back?
All the way down the stairs.
Really?
Yes.
Well, when is enough enough? How do you know when to stop pushing?
This basement area.
Okay. Say a young lady comes up to you and says, Lady Gaga, Give me some advice. How can I make it to where you are today?
I worked hard. I was always honest about my sexual freedoms. I did something wrong and I have to fix what I did.
Wonderful. That's some great advice, Lady Gaga. Any final words before we call it a day? If you could have one single wish, what would that be?
A world where we can all, in the future, love more harmoniously and more equally.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. I didn't even expect that. Anything else? Anything at all?
A world where everybody called me a tranny robot and thought that I had a little penis. Sick.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lady Gaga, for being on the Chris Top program.
Okay, thank you. This is awesome, to an almost nauseating degree.
All right, there you have it, Lady Gaga. I don't want you to move because you're absolutely, positively, 100% in the right place. The Chris Top program will be back.
Hi, Chris. It's me, Nick. Nick Shot.
Hey there, Nick Shot. What's up?
Obviously, you know that your stuff was hacked. If you didn't know already, it was me.
Oh, so you were the hacker. I'm sure if an adult had been involved, this would have never happened.
I was gloating to Doc about it the whole time.
Oh. So Doc FM, the adult, was involved. Well, I'm sure you're sorry and you'll never do it again. You'll probably even leave Spreaker.
Sorry, I'm really upset right now. I'll leave you guys alone. I'll never make another Spreaker account. I'll leave you guys. I'll go to Blog Talk.
Well, I guess that's a comfort. I'm sure the Spreaker community would be a little upset if they knew hackers were freely running around.
I won't be a nuisance anymore. I'll be leaving Spreaker permanently. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's probably good you're leaving, Nick, because Spreaker's not really a safe place for kids. You've got adults like Joe Seeker. Before Spreaker kicked him off, he was using logos like school buses to attract young kids, if you know what I mean. And I can say that because I know for a fact he won't listen to my show, because he says he never listens to my show. And it's my right to broadcast whatever I want.
I won't be a nuisance anymore. I'll be leaving Spreaker permanently. Don't worry.
Dude, it's cool. You already said that. I totally believe you. There's no reason to lie to me. I get it. You won't be back, and I'm sure your word is as good as gold.
All right, today on the show we're talking about dating, as if I know anything about dating, really. Now I've got some worst date stories that I'm going to discuss here with you. We can discuss them. I don't know. These are pretty bad. Now, if you have any worst date stories, feel free to post those on my Facebook page. And let me know. You can tweet me or let me know in the chat if you do that, and I'll go back and we'll talk about it. I'm just going to kind of get into this. Now, after a bad breakup, I let my mom set me up with the son of one of her friends. Now, I knew nothing about him other than his name and the fact that he was 16 years my senior. Now, I like older men, so I agreed. It ended up being the shortest dinner date in history. A total of 22 minutes. Now, mostly consisting of him making an outdated pop culture reference in an attempt to relate to me. Now, every time I tried to steer the conversation towards his interest or some kind of a mutual ground, and you would think this would be the other way around. I mean, being an older guy, if you're dating a younger woman, you would think that she would be talking about things that you just didn't know. Like she just wouldn't be quiet, and she would talk about things that you didn't know anything about. But this is interesting looking at it from this point of view. Now, he would come out with questions like, "So, what's your favorite show on MTV?" I guess he's trying to be cool and stuff. I don't know. And so, how about that Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? He actually said that. I don't understand some people. I really don't. She says, "I was bored to tears and I couldn't wait to get out of there." And see, you need to be writing this stuff down, because if this could be you, I could be saving you from just a total disaster. Now, it gets worse. It does. It really, really gets worse. That one was actually not as bad and as weird as this one. I want you to check this out. Now, I once went on a date with a guy that I met online. He looked normal enough, and I agreed to go on a date with him. We met for drinks. Things were going really well. Handsome, charming, seemingly normal, so I agreed to go on another date with him. So he made a good first impression, and that's good. That's very important. And this is what she says. She says, we head to a really nice steakhouse, and after appetizers and his third martini, he starts to speak baby talk to me. So I guess when you get this guy drunk, he slips into baby mode. Stuff like, would you like a little kissy-wissy? Stuff like that. And see, I've seen people do that. It makes me want to throw up. But I've seen them do that. But it gets worse. She says, our steaks arrive, and he reached across the table to cut my meat for me. She says, I'm completely freaked out. See, I can visualize this in my head. I have a very, very, very vivid imagination. I'm completely freaked out, decided I'm going to the bathroom, and he asked if I need help wiping. Okay, let me read this part again. Our steaks arrive, and he reached across the table to cut my meat for me. I'm completely freaked out, decide I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, now listen to this part very closely because you heard it right the first time. And he asked if I need help wiping. She said I make it to the ladies' room, where my waitress walks in after me as I'm planning my escape route, and she says, I was just listening in on your date. Your guy put a pacifier on your plate. And then the waitress asked her if she needed to get out of the back. So she winds up sneaking me through the kitchen, and I slipped her a $20 tip. See, I'm not going to do the other side on this show today. I'm not going to do good dates, because these are a lot more fun, I think. These are a lot more fun. Now, though we really hit it off on the phone, when we met in person, my blind date looked nothing like he said he did and spent our entire date talking about how unattractive he is and how women constantly reject him, asking me if I thought he was ugly. I cut the date short, declined a second date, and thought I was in the clear when I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. Then I got an email from him, not a single word, just a photo of his penis. These are true stories. I'm not making these up, I promise you. I promise I'm not making them up. And I've got a couple more I'll share with you here in a minute. But I want to go back to some of these other things that you should not do. That you just shouldn't do. Now, where did we leave? See, I don't even know where we left off. Okay. So we talked about not being too enthusiastic. Okay, now this is important too, and I think a lot of times we accuse women of leading men on, but it could go the other way too. So don't lead your date on. I mean, if you're not interested, or if you only want one thing, don't tell her what she wants to hear just so you can get her in the... Don't do that. So you don't want to... There's little point in pursuing something that just isn't working, is what I'm trying to say. You've got to know when it's time to stand up and just walk away. Now, you don't do that literally, like during the meal at a restaurant or anything like that. When you have your moment of realization, don't just stand up and throw your napkin down and say, "You're not right for me, I'm getting out of here." Don't do that. But don't chase dates merely for the sake of dating either. Now, generally, if you aren't sure things are working out, they're probably not working out. And earlier I said, don't put her on a pedestal, don't treat her as though she's some kind of a goddess, but at the same time, you do want to make sure that you compliment her. And try to be truthful, because girls can tell if you're lying. They really, really can. So you want to make sure that, and if you have to really dig, if you have to really work hard on trying to find something to compliment her about, then maybe you're just not attracted to her. And again, don't just tell her things she wants to hear to get her in the sack. Don't do that. You want to take the time to make her feel good about herself. Now, in today's dating world, with all the rules, the systems, the mind games, the old-fashioned compliment is overlooked so many times. If she looks beautiful, tell her that she looks beautiful. If she's the funniest girl that you've ever dated, let her know. If she's funny, tell her she's funny. Guys aren't the only ones who are allowed to be funny. If she wants to be funny, tell her she's funny. Unless you're intimidated by her funniness. And that's when you throw down the napkin and you just walk out of the room during the date. That's fine. If you like that new little trick that maybe she pulled in the bedroom, you can tell her about that too. I mean, definitely say something. Just let her know. I like these. These are really, really good. I don't know that I'll ever have the chance to use them, but they're really quite good. And we touched on this briefly before. Well, we talked about don't discuss your ex. Okay, let's go a little further. Don't ever dangle other women in front of her. Now, it might still be the early stages of your relationship. Things aren't serious just yet. But before you establish an exclusive rule with her, the other woman that you're dating should always remain separate. Now, this is one of those forgotten, timeless dating rules. Being respectful means letting her know that you're dating others, if that's what you're doing. Now, see, you may not be with just this one girl, but at least you've got to tell her that it's not exclusive. It's not weird to do that. It's really not. So if you are dating other people, then let her know that you're going out on dates. And that way she sort of knows what to expect. And if something happens and you decide to make it a steady thing with this woman, then tell her that too. And then you need to stop calling the other chicks. But don't go into the gory details. Just say, yeah, I'm dating right now. Just be honest. I'm trying to find the right girl. There's nothing wrong with being honest. There's nothing wrong at all. Don't mention the cute girl that you met yesterday. Don't check out other women in front of her. And also, in the long term, don't use other women to stir up jealousy. Jealousy is not a good thing. It is not a way to prove to someone that you love them. Jealousy is evil. Okay? If you mention your fit 21-year-old secretary to maybe inject a little passion into the relationship, it's not going to work. All right. Thou shalt not let thyself go. Now, after you spend a little bit of time with a girl, you start to feel comfortable. You start to feel really comfortable around her. Maybe sometimes you feel a little bit too comfortable. Maybe you just don't want to, or you don't feel the urge to really impress her anymore, so you let things slide. It's not good. Because then you start to forget about your hygiene. She really doesn't want to hear the bathroom humor. Maybe you start wearing ratty, stained shirts. Maybe you've added on a few extra pounds. Well, she knows you're a real person. Believes me, she knows you have faults. But she doesn't need to be reminded how much of a slob you can really be. Don't act like she's one of your roommates. And I think that's pretty important. I mean, don't you? I mean, if you care about somebody, then you care about them enough to care about yourself, right? And don't rush things. I mean, you don't want to be the kind of guy who won't kiss on the first date, but don't rush things either. I mean, relationships, they develop at their own pace. I mean, if you go in and you try to plan, or if you if you plan on moving in together after 2 years, getting engaged after 3, and getting married after 4, it's just not going to turn out well. So you want to wait until they feel right. I mean, don't you? I mean, you can't just always do what's expected. Now, under no circumstances should you ever tell her that you love her the first month. That could be the single most important thing I've told you thus far. I mean, maybe you really like a girl when you go out with her. Maybe. But don't tell her that you love her. Hold it back. Just keep it inside, at least for a month. That's a pretty good time frame. It's not too quick, and you're not waiting forever. You know, after the first month, if you like her, you're playing hard to get, she says, I love you first, go ahead and say it back. It's okay then. All right, here's another story. My date told me he wanted to take me to a restaurant out in a ritzy town that was pretty far from where I live. Less than a minute after I got into the dude's car, he's like, I forgot that you lived out so far, so do you mind if we go to the place I suggested? I said, no, not at all. And then he said, good, because I don't really feel like driving way out there and then bringing your ass all the way back home. Chivalry is alive in this guy, right? I mean, this is just a first date, is what he said. And she says, I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. And what does she do? I mean, maybe if they were still at her front door and he said this, maybe she could just slam the door in his face and go back in, but she's kind of obligated now because she's in the car. So she said, I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt, and we went to one of my favorite restaurants. We eat, he orders 2 drinks, and he doesn't pay for the meal. Remember, we talked about that. You've got to pay for the meal, guys. It's just what you do. And then once I pay for my half and leave my tip, he puts down $20 and asks me if I have any more small bills because he doesn't want to break his other 20. Because he's paying for his part of the meal. He doesn't want to break his other 20. She says, I told him to ask the waitress to change his damn 20. We leave the restaurant and he says, this always happens to me when I drink rum. It makes me have to pee. So she says, we keep walking, and then I realize I'm walking by myself because he stopped to pee in the alley. Right in front of me. See, that's a classy guy, right? Isn't that a classy guy? Really? Anyway, I'm going to take another quick little break. We'll come back. We'll go over some more stories. We're going to go over some other things too that I feel like are very important. And I'm trying to do a service to my 3 listeners. I know I only have 3 listeners left, and I'm totally okay with that because I love what I do. I do. And if I had 10,000 listeners, or if I had 3 listeners, I'm not going to take you for granted. I'm really not. Because there are a million other things that you could be doing, but you choose to listen to me. And that makes me feel pretty darn good. It really, really does. And while I'm talking about this stuff, why don't we go ahead and do this? It's time to spread the Spreaker love. So if you would, go ahead and click on somebody in the chat. And not just anybody, but I mean, if you have a show on Spreaker, go ahead and type the word show into the chat. And make sure you check them out. Give them a listen. If you like them, that's great. If you don't like them, you don't have to listen anymore. That's fine. It's really fine. But now's your chance. Type away, and you can spread that Spreaker love.
We're just here to spread that love all around. Spread it around. Spread it around.
Oh, and something else, too, that I want to do before I go into my break. I want to do this. This is the Dork National Anthem. And I know I need some new material because I play it every show. I get that. I do. It's by my good buddy Belgium Tim. So if you're a dork, go ahead and stand to your feet. Place your hand over your heart. And I want you to say this. I'm a dork. I'm proud. And I'm hip. And we're going to follow this with the dork, or with the wobble rap by Big N.
Working on being awesome every day. I'm working on being awesome every day. W-O-B-A-W-O-B and yeah, I'm working on being awesome every day. I'm not really awesome to this day, but I'm working on being awesome every day. I'm not awesome today, but I'll be one day.
Now, before I play the Wabba rap, I do want to mention that we have a celebrity in the room. It's Big N. He is actually the guy that wrote this for me, and he also performs it. And I asked him to do this. I said, hey, would you write me a cool Wabba rap song? Like the next day. The next day he sends it to me.
Yeah, Big N in the building. Representing the dorks. Dorks of the world unite, y'all. Yeah. Hey there, everybody, I got something to say. The sky ride over there is Wabba every single day. Okay, what is Wabba?
It gets so creepy, cold thing.
No, dude, it's just a little dork singing. Well, W is working, O is on it, B is being, and A is for awesome, and that's the dork saying. I'm already awesome, but that's okay, cause Mr. Chris Top is too, but he just doesn't know it. And so are all of you from here on to the far. And just so you know, life is good and I'm gone.
Okay. Before I take my quick little break here. Oh, and I think I just totally got rid of my song that I had lined up to play because I changed my mind on the format. Let me see if I can find it real quick before I go any further. No, but I've got something I want to share with you guys. It was something kind of funny I did today, and I do this stuff somewhat often. Does that even make sense? If you do something somewhat often? See, I don't know. I have a ringtone, and I made this ringtone a while back, but sometimes I think it's just kind of fun just to send this stuff out randomly to some of my friends. And I'm gonna let me see if I can find the text that I got back on this. This is gonna make you crack up. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find it. See, I should have been prepared a little better, but this is. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, here it is. So I send this random text out to several of my friends, and most of them got it. They laughed and said it. They said it was. They know me. But sometimes I'll pick somebody that maybe doesn't have a sense of humor. Now, before I go any further, let me just go ahead and play what I sent out to some random people today.
I never talk to strangers unless they are hot. The ice cream man is evil. Justin Bieber was sent to this planet to destroy the minds of teenage girls. When my hand falls asleep, I like to slap my face with it because it feels like a stranger is attacking me. I happen to love ponies as well. Want a date?
Okay, that's not the exact one that I sent. I'd remade that one with just my regular voice, and that's what I sent out. And this is most of the responses I got were LOL, that's hilarious, thank you, that was funny, that kind of thing. And most people got it, and then from this one woman that I know, she says, and she's trying to be so sweet. She's trying to be nice. She's trying to let me down easy here. Because when you get the MP3, it says, do you want to date? That's part of the title, and I guess she played it, and she kind of read a little bit too much into it. She says, you're sweet, but I just got out of a long and complicated relationship, and I'm not really trying to jump back into another one just yet. I don't mind what we got going, and we can go and eat and do stuff. I'm just not emotionally ready to get into anything committed. And this is what she told me. And this is my response to her. Dude, I was just being cute. It was some audio that I was working on. Don't freak out on me. I'm not trying to get married or anything like that. So I think after that, she probably felt kind of silly. But I couldn't. That's not one of those things I could just let go. I had to explain myself. Because see, we've been talking about this stuff. And I didn't want to, I don't want to come across that way to anybody. But I thought it was pretty funny, and I thought maybe you'd appreciate it.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Take it from the top.
you something I think you'll understand. When I say that something, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Oh, please say to me, you'll let me be your man. Now please say to me, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can hide, I can hide, I can hide. Yeah, you got that something you'll understand. When I say that something, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can hide, I can hide, I can hide. Oh yeah, I'll tell you something I think you'll understand. When I say that something, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
And, you know, I do want to bring this up. And I was just going to avoid this altogether. But I just feel like sometimes you just have to say something. So I'm going to say my something just real quick. Spreaker. If I really want it to get that number one spot back, I could get that number one spot back. Do you know why? Because I'm Chris Top, bitch.
One man, one dream.
Dorks unite.
No, it's Dorks of the World.
Dorks of the World unite.
Nice. The most sane radio personality on Spreaker.com.
Because I'm losing my mind.
No, you're being ridiculous.
I'm positively losing my mind. You made an F and you suck, little Timmy. Because if you don't know how to lose, you don't know how good it feels to actually win.
Boldly spreaking where no man has spoke before.
No, dude, it's not going to hurt their feelings, and if it does hurt their feelings, they need to grab their balls.
Okay, now I want you to take a deep breath first.
I feel giddy like a schoolgirl. Not afraid to be controversial.
I'd like to welcome Yo-Yo Dino to the chat. Yeah, I gotta say, Dino, that was really gripping.
The one and only Chris Top, only on Spreaker.com.
Yeah, I've really got to get a life.
And I really do. I really do need to get a life. And just so you know, I don't have stripper girlfriends. I don't. I haven't been to a strip club in probably no? When was the last time? I don't remember. I think it was a bachelor party, and I was married at the time. So I don't even know if that really counts, to be honest with you. I don't have a clue if that counts or not. But anyway, back to the show. Okay, we're talking about dating. And I know. I'm not the right person to talk about dating. I know that. I get it. Thou shalt not frequent thy exes. Now, forget the myth, because that's all it is a myth. After breaking up, you and an ex can remain best friends and help each other out through struggles of the next relationship. No. You cannot. Break it off and go away. Move on. If you can still remain friends and still do things together, then why are you breaking up in the first place? It's a myth. Your focus should be on the girl that you're with in the here and the now. And by all means, be okay with your exes. I mean, you could exchange catch-up emails every few months. You could say hello when you bump into them. But they should never, ever, ever, ever linger around your new relationship. It's not a good thing. It's really not. I mean, imagine this. Imagine second, third date. Hey, you want to go out to dinner? I'm meeting my ex there. We can all three sit down. Maybe have coffee. Have a good long meal. Maybe have some dessert. Maybe we can all go for a long walk in the park afterwards. I mean, I know that's exaggerated, but I mean, isn't that kind of what it is? I mean, you could be on a date with some girl and you could be texting your ex while you're on the date, and then you're going to be breaking two rules at the same time. You're breaking the texting rule and you're communicating with your ex. You're just asking for trouble. Now, in the dating game, these facts are certain. Not every pickup attempt is going to land a date. Not every date is going to be perfect. Not every relationship, except the one, will end in tears. Now, taking these guarantees on the chin is perhaps the cardinal rule of dating. Don't dwell on the bad times. Don't do it. Learn from them. Get yourself ready to approach the next girl, the next guy. Just keep moving forward. It's like a good screenplay. A good screenplay, the writer is going to keep it moving forward the whole time. A guy took me to Tompkins Square Park, the dog parade, on a date, followed by brunch, where he told me about how he can't have orgasms because he's on Prozac. That's something great to bring up on a first date, isn't it? And could I cover brunch because he makes like $0, is what he told her after that. What would be the reason for telling a girl that on the first date? See, I've probably said some pretty strange stuff on first dates, but I don't know that I've ever got that odd. It was my first date with a guy I met on an online personal site. We had a couple of quick conversations online, but he says he wasn't a great writer, so we had agreed to meet for coffee. As I sat, I imagined this really cute guy and with unbelievable credentials, is what she says. Now, and was extremely excited to meet him. Finally, a guy sat down and introduced himself as my date. But instead of the 25-year-old I was expecting and was pictured on his profile, he was overweight, balding, and at least 50 years old. And this is what he said. This is how he tried to get out of it, okay? How could you meet somebody after posting something like that? How would you even have the cojones? But see, and this is what he told her, and I feel like somewhere in his bald head he believed this. He ended up talking to me for at least a half hour about how he was a 25-year-old in a 50-year-old's body. And that was actually a picture from his youth. I really feel like maybe he still sees himself that way, and that's kind of what he believes. She said, needless to say, I didn't call for a second date. And I wish I had some happy stories for you today, but I don't, just because, well, they're just not that much fun. They're really not. We got Scooter in the chat. Scooter, it's good to see you. Geez, had to scroll to the top to read everything. Damn, somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed. People do that on occasion, Scooter. They do. And, you know, as long as people are listening to my show, I'm okay with it. So I'm not the same Chris Top that I was. I'm really not. When I first started broadcasting, it was about having fun. Don't get me wrong. It was about developing a relationship with my listeners, with my friends. But it was all about being number one. And you can go back and listen to my shows, and you can tell that I was really, really, really serious about it. But now it's just, I do it for fun. And it took me a while to realize that. Because I didn't have a choice. I had to take some time off because I'd started a new job and things were happening in my life. And, and I've still got my job and I'm still busy. I just happen to be on vacation this week, and I'm taking a stay-at-home vacation, which is really nice because it's giving me a chance just to be lazy. It's giving me a chance to do things I don't normally get to do, and I'm getting to broadcast a little bit more, which is really, really nice. But I love broadcasting, and I love getting on here and hanging out with you guys, and that's really sort of what I'm doing, and I feel like I owe it to you too to put on a well-produced show. So that's what I'm doing. So really. In the position that I'm in now, if people still want to hate me, even if I'm at number, I don't even know what place I'm in. I could be in 100th or 500th. I don't know what place I'm in. But if the haters are still going to come out, then that's cool, I guess. I mean, they might get me a few more listeners, I guess. But I get excited when I get a new listener. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I enjoy seeing you guys. So. To all the haters, I salute you. I really, really do. Maybe I've got as many haters as I do 3 listeners. That's kind of cool.
Some might say you're a sexually aggressive, racist, homophobe, misogynistic, cowardly, illiterate, waste of human skin. Sexually aggressive, racist, homophobe, misogynistic, cowardly, illiterate, waste of human skin. But I say thank you, beautiful stranger.
And thank you, all of the beautiful strangers who absolutely, positively hate my show. It's fine. I'm okay with that. The old Chris Top would have been like, I would have went back and forth, but I can't do that now. But anyway, I do want to thank each and every one of you. And they did. They got to me today. I cut my show short. It's only 95 minutes. I do apologize. But I do appreciate each and every one of you listening. I really do. And until I broadcast again, please remember this. Please remember this. Life is good, and I'm gone.
Is it over yet?
Completely over. You have been exposed to the Chris Top program.
Yeah, okay, are we done? I really gotta get a life.
And if you ever listen to the show, I don't always leave right away. I typically will come back and talk to you guys for just a minute. So do we have any dads in the chat? What are you guys doing for Father's Day tomorrow? Are you hanging out with the kids? Are they taking you out to Shoney's for that free piece of cake? Is that what's going on? Noah, it's better late than never. I see it for a second. I forgot what I was going to say. Big N says the show's always better when he listens to it stoned. I know I might seem stoned quite a bit when I do my broadcast, but I'm really not. And Sarah, I appreciate you as well. I really do. I can't thank you enough for listening to the show and putting up with me. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask. It really is for you guys to join me in the chat. When I broadcast at my random surprise show times. They're telling me not to go anywhere. Well, I have to go eventually. I could keep going a little bit longer if you want me to. I'm sure I've got stuff to talk about. I would love it if you guys would, if you're not following me yet on Facebook, if you'd go ahead and follow me. You can check out maybe some ringtones on PhoneZoo if you want a ringtone for your phone. You can also tweet with me. You can tumble with me. There's just a whole slew of things that you can do. And we can go a little longer if you want. I'm good with that. Have you heard about the Apple phones, what they put on the smartphones now? My phone is pissing me off. Because when I try to text on my phone, here, let me look at this real quick. If I go to messages on my phone and then I turn it sideways and then I try to type a message, I am not able to hit the letter K. Or then if I switch it over, the question mark's in the same spot, and I can't hit the question mark. So if you're one of my friends on my texting list and words are missing K's and if you're having a guess that I'm asking a question, then I probably am. And that's why, because my smartphone it got dumb all of a sudden. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. Apple is actually adding a new feature to its upcoming smartphones. It's a kill switch. It sounds kind of James Bondish, doesn't it? The owner can actually trigger that if the device is stolen, and it erases all the data, and it powers it down from a distance. And the only way to bring it back is the legal user's ID and a password. You have to have that to reactivate it. Now, see, Apple phones, they do really well. The stolen phones, when they resell them. But this, I think, could actually deter that. Because, I mean, even if you get your phone recovered if it's stolen, it's still the hassle. But see, this way, maybe they'll steal your purse instead of your Apple. So that could actually work out to your advantage. So that should really, I think, deter the thieves from taking your phone. That was a pretty good idea, right? And I'm sure they're only going to tack like an extra $100 on there. But you can look at that for the new iPhones. And you know, something I've never really been a big fan of are the 5-hour energy drinks. I know, I guess it was about a year or two ago, I was helping one of my buddies do something. It was we were out really, really late, but I was helping him with a job. So we stop at the little quick stop, and he says, "Hey, let's get a couple of those 5-hour energy drinks." So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll get one." You know, because I was really tired, and I usually don't drink these things, but I went ahead and got it, down the thing, and I had the jitters. I mean, I was just shaking all over the place. I don't know what was up with that, but anyway, about a week ago, I took a chance, and I got another one. And there's actually still one in my fridge because I got two. But I was having to drive a pretty long distance, and I was pretty tired, and I'm not a big fan of falling asleep at the wheel, so I thought, well, I'll get one of these and I'll down it and see if it works. So, and you know, and I think it worked. I didn't get the jitters this time, so maybe it was something that particular night that did that to me. I don't know. And see, when I just started believing in the 5-hour energy drinks, and Scooter, this is going to destroy you, so if you're still listening, you might want to just mute me for a second. Now, there's scientists at a college in Kentucky. Now, they've done a double-blind experiment, and I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Double-blind experiment. Maybe it's Siamese twins that masturbate too much? I don't know. But a double-blind experiment to measure the effect of 5-hour energy drinks. Now, it turns out that everyone's favorite tiny energy drink, it might not be any more effective than a cup of coffee. You know, these things are like, what, $4 to $6 a piece? You can go to a lot of places and get a free cup of coffee. Now, the researchers looked at the drink's effect on a specific brainwave, the P300, whatever that is, which increases in amplitude when it's stimulated by caffeine. Now, perhaps surprisingly, 5-hour energy was no better at increasing the P300s, whatever that is, activity than the caffeine that you can get out of your local coffee machine. Huh. So maybe people that swear by the 5-hour energy drinks, maybe it's just all in your mind. I don't know. And, you know, and it probably would have kept working for me had I not read that. So I guess now it's back to the coffee, I guess. Oh. Jesus' face has appeared again, in case you didn't know this. There's a little spot in the tile at the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. And if you haven't, it's that little spot right behind the trash can in Terminal 3 North. Well, it's the face of Jesus. That's the contention of believers, anyway, who've seen it. Now, it's about a nickel in size, and they swear up and down it's the Son of God, and that's where he's just recently shown up this time, and he's shown up all over the place. I mean, I think stuff like this is actually probably good for Christianity, just because it does prove that God is everywhere, and that could be on a grilled cheese sandwich, or it could be at an airport, behind the trash can, on the floor. I don't know, and who are we to say that it's not legit? I mean, we can't, right? Now, okay, let me ask you guys this question. And how long do you want me to go? I don't particularly want to go all night, but I mean, I can go for however long. Don't ask me to go another hour, because I'm not going to do that. I don't even know what's going on in the chat. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this. What do you think is worse? I know what I think's worse, but I want to know what you think is worse. Do you worry more about the size of your stuff, say in the bedroom, or do you worry more about the size of your stuff, say in the locker room? Isn't that a good question? That's a really good question. Have you ever thought about that? And I would have to say, I'm like everybody else. I would worry more about it in the locker room. And I think it goes back to me being a nervous urinator. Now, there's a study. Oh, I hate studies. I really do, especially when they're good ones. Because I think this was an important study. Most men worry about their size, but not just with their partners. And this was a survey that they took with 700 men between the ages of 18 and 76. And this happened at Victoria University. Researchers coined the term locker room syndrome. Now remember that term, because you might be hearing it more often. After realizing that most men more concerned with the size of their manhood when they're in the locker room than when they're in the bedroom. And if you're going to the locker room right out of the pool, remember that old Seinfeld, the shrinkage? It could have something to do with that. Because shrinkage, it is a real thing. And you can believe me or not, ladies, but it is a real thing. Men's preoccupation with size was rarely to do with pleasing sexual partners. It was often more about competition with other men. See, I don't know about you, but if I go to the locker room, that's why I wear other clothing under my pants, like boxers. Right? I've got another story that's just going to totally... And Chris agreed. He said, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? Noah says, that's what's going on. Size of stuff in the bedroom. Guys won't judge much unless they are gay, and guys don't usually try to stare at your in the locker room. Yeah, you don't try to stare at it, but sometimes your eyes just do. I mean, it's like maybe a quick glance, or it stands out more in the peripheral vision than most things do, but it happens. You just see it. And I gotta say, I've been in the locker room before, and I've seen some guy's thing, and I'm like, oh my god, there's no way I'm taking my underwear off in front of that guy. There's no way he's gonna laugh at me. He's gonna throw stuff at me, and he's going to laugh at me. There's no way I'm taking my pants off. Kimberly's in the chat. She's talking about something that she was working on for me before. It was called Dead Air, and that was actually a zombie radio play that she was writing, and she had to stop because she had things come up in her life, and that's very understandable. But I'm always hoping that maybe one of these days she'll be able to finish that up. because that is a project that I would love to tackle. And she's got some great ideas, and you know how I am. You know how I am about the whole zombie thing. I really think it could be a lot of fun. So you never know. Maybe sometime in the future, it could happen. Let's see. Let me see what else is going on in the chat. Because I've got another couple things I can talk about that what I'm probably going to do tonight when I'm done, and see, it's a lot more relaxed after I play the outro, because it's just kind of you and me. It's just you and me. We're hanging out. Let me see if I can find the Dead Air promo that we had, just to kind of give you guys an idea. There were actually two of them that we played for a while. Let's see if I can pull those up real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of what we were working on, and hopefully this is something that we will be able to do sometime. But this was the Dead Air promo.
This is Steve Langham, broadcasting from 106 KBD. To any survivors, if anyone can hear me, if anyone is still alive, you're not alone. Oh God, they're inside.
You know, I haven't heard that in so long. It makes me... I was only going to play one, but now I got to play them both because I'm all excited.
Hey, we've got dead air in there. You need to wake up. What the hell was that? I can do this. Next caller. It's over. It's really over. Dead Air coming to Facebook very soon. A Chris Top production.
I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, don't you want to hear that? I want to hear it too. See, after we did the promos, I listened to them just over and over and over and over again because it's so much fun. It really is. And Kim wrote this. See, Kim is good. She's actually a very good writer. So I'm hoping she'll get the time to finish that up. And I've only found one thing scarier than the possibility of Dead Air actually being produced, and that's this story. $20,000. I mean, to most people, that sounds like a pretty good chunk of money. But I guess it depends on what you're giving up for $20,000. Raphael. Was that your favorite Ninja Turtle? No, that's not what I'm talking about. But evidently, he has balls to spare. Or at least balls that he's willing to part with. Now, he's a Colombian poet. Leave it to a poet, I guess. He's actually offering his testicles for the bargain price of, you guessed it, $20,000. What do you think he's trying to do with the $20,000? Well, he's trying to fund a peace-promoting trip to Europe. See, I believe in peace. I really do. I really, really do. But I wouldn't give up my testicles for it. I couldn't do that. I'm trying to think if I could give up one. Okay. Maybe if it was a sure thing for world peace and somebody had better build a giant-ass statue of me somewhere if I did this. If it was a sure thing that we would have world peace if I gave up my testicles, I would do it. but it would have to be a sure thing. And when you erect my statue, and I chose that term very carefully, I better still have my set. Because I don't want to be remembered as the guy with no testicles. And you know what's funny? If you did give your testicles away and you were guaranteed world peace, there'd still be that one jackass out there somewhere that would make fun of you. Somewhere out there would be that jackass that would make fun of you. Hey, look, that's the guy that saved the planet. He doesn't have any testicles. He doesn't have any nuts. So he reportedly suggested that the 52-year-old nuts, and now he's giving suggestions, like if people want to buy his junk, he suggested that they could be used by a sterile dude. And if I was a sterile dude, I think I would go for a newer model. I don't think I'd go for a 52-year-old pair. It's just me. I don't think they're like a car that you could restore. So I would probably want a younger pair. He says that they could be used by some sterile dude, or they could simply be made into a delicious soup. Hang on. I don't know how delicious that soup would be. And I don't, that's not something that I want to find out. All right, we're going to do one more, and I'm going to hit the road. I've got some other date stuff here, too. Let's see. See, a lot of the material that I pull, I don't ever even get to it. I really don't. And what is this? These are some really bad things you can say on a first date. I don't know how I overlooked this. This could have actually been a lot of fun. Okay, and this is the first thing. And some of these are actually pretty good. That was your sister? She's got some really big tatas. See, that's not something. That's definitely not something you want to say on a first date. This has been the most stimulating 15 minutes of conversation I've ever had. What are you doing for the rest of your life, baby? See, that's kind of creepy. That's probably not something that the chick wants to hear on the first date. And if you really, really... I mean, you could move it down to 5 minutes if you really want to scare her bad. But, I mean, these could be good suggestions if it's a date that maybe you want to get out of. Maybe you don't want to hurt her feelings. Maybe you would just rather leave her feeling afraid and you just want to get away. This is one. It's a real miracle drug. I couldn't control my herpes without it. And again, these are some good suggestions if you want to get out of a date. I'm so glad that you agreed to go out with me. I just started using Viagra, and I've been wanting to see how well it works. So maybe that is true, but maybe you shouldn't be so forward on your date with that one. I asked you out because you look so much like my last girlfriend. I still think about her all the time, and being with you is almost as good as being with her. Isn't that sweet? That's really a sweet thing to say. And I'm glad we're going out. I got 8 kids at home that need a new mama. I'm glad we're going out because I got 8 kids at home that need a new mama. Man, your friend looked incredible. Can I have her number just in case things don't work out tonight? I wonder if people have actually used this stuff. A lot of people think Scientology is a cult, but that's not true. In fact, I want you to come to a meeting with me tonight to prove it. No, I insist. You will come to the meeting. I can almost picture Tom Cruise saying that. I really can. When you date as many prostitutes and junkies as I do, it's nice to finally be going out with a classy woman like you. That's going to make her want to go on a second. That's going to get her in the bedroom, really. And this is the best one, I think. That Big Mac and fries cost $5.24. That means when we go to my place later, you owe me $5.24 worth of Poo-Tang. I thought that was hilarious. I really, really, really did. Okay, now Noah's begging me to tell his secret. I have no idea what the secret is. Kevin, it's good to see you, buddy. And Kevin actually went to see the new Superman movie today, Man of Steel, and I desperately want to see that. It looks so good. It really, 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 really looks good. And I looked at a few of the ratings that came out. And, they were okay. They weren't as great as I thought they would be. But I have no idea how much money the movie's made so far or anything like that, or what the word on the street's at yet. And I should have looked up some of that stuff before the show because it would have been fun to talk about. But I was kind of just wanting to do the dating show, so maybe we can wait till after the weekend. Donatello happens to be some of the favorite Ninja Turtles. Leonardo's Kim's. And Noah, what was your secret? Tell me your secret, and I will tell it to the world. Kim says she's a dyslexic atheist. She says she doesn't believe in dog. And that's Kim. You gotta love Kim. You really, really do. And if I knew your secret, I promise I would tell everybody. Well, I hope I kept the show as PG-13 as I could. I think I did. I don't know. Ask your parents next time before you listen to my freaking show, Noah. I mean, usually it's okay. Usually it is, and I don't think anything was too bad today. I don't think. But just make sure you ask your parents. It'll make me feel better. I'm Chris Topp. I'm the Dork of Steel. Thank you guys so much, really. Thank you for listening to me, for putting up with me and all that stuff. And I went a little longer. I did. I went an extra... 20 minutes, 25, 30? I don't know how much longer I went. 25 minutes. We'll just say that. I went an extra 25 minutes, and I did that because I do care about you guys. I do care about my listeners. I just wish, like I said, I wish I could broadcast more. But I can't. I have responsibilities, and I have things going on, and it would be great. It would be totally wonderful if I could, but... you don't always get what you want. So, and I've come to grips with that. I understand that. I mean, when I first took my job, I thought to myself, okay, how can I still broadcast every day? Be gone most of the day. Maybe I'm home a total of 8 hours. So if I prep in the morning and then go do what I have to do, and then when I get back, I could do a show, and I could live on 4 hours of sleep. That's kind of what I was telling myself at first. And I was like, screw that. Because this guy right here, he needs sleep. I really, really do. I love you guys, but I got to have my sleep. Especially since I found out the 5-hour energy drinks, they just don't work. They don't work. So I can't go back to that plan. But I do. I love you guys to death. I do. And until I broadcast again, please, please remember, life is good, and I'm
Chris Topp, self-proclaimed leader of all dorks.
I'm Chris Topp, king of the dorks. That's right.
Yeah, I remember growing up when I was a little kid, my mom was so sweet. She would say things like, thank God, Chris, there's only one of you, because you are so very special.
There is only one Easter Bunny, there's only one Jesus Christ, there's only one God, and there's only one Chris Topp.
I am the one and only Chris Topp, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view.
Actually, that's not true. I live next to a dumpster.
Meow! Shut up, Abby. Keep quiet. Yes, I know. I don't really have an ocean view. I have a view of the local hobo singing around a burning dumpster, but I don't want my fans to know that.
Does Chris Topp have a mysterious side, a darker side, if you will? Well, I guess I do. You could compare my life to the Da Vinci Code.
C for Chris Topp. H for holy mackerel, it's Chris Topp.
Well, I don't know if my show would make sense if you played it backwards, but I do have a few things right in front of your face.
R for really awesome, Chris Topp. I for I can't believe it's Chris Topp. S for somebody pinch me, it's Chris Top.
Am I conceited? Am I conceited? No, I'm not.
C for terrific, Chris Top. O as in oh my god, it's Chris Top. And P for party time with me, Chris Top. Oh god.
Well, the ladies do like their Chris Top.
Oh god.
Well, that's it for today, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, life is good.
And I'm gone.
One more quick thing before I go. Just for the record, I'm not dating Cookie. I just had her on my show. And I got to thinking about it. It's a really good thing I didn't have a priest on the show or something, because I'm not attracted to priest at all.
Okay, dude, take a deep breath before you answer your phone, because it is a hottie trying to call you. But it's not just your regular run-of-the-mill hottie, it's a dork hottie. It's a rare breed, it's like finding a unicorn. This could be the only girl in the world for you. Listen, the last thing I want to do is put you under pressure, but don't screw this up. This magical, mythical creature could be your only hope for true happiness. She's already joined the dork side, all you have to do is be yourself. She's proof that dork hotties do exist. Answer the phone and by all means be adorkable.